Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is good. Did you do anything exciting this weekend? My weekend was like very, very busy, and but in a kind of a good way, right? We Friday. I probably should have taken cameras with me on Friday because we traveled to M's parents' house. They're in Ohio, so it's like a pretty good drive to get there. But we went up for a birthday party and had a really good time, and then came back. I kind of didn't take the party wasn't a place for a camera, but the drive would have been nice to have. The other thing that's I've thought about is I have a dash cam in my car, so I literally have footage. I just need to pop the SD card out and like there you go. Here's a whole bunch of footage of me driving around. But whatever. I think that if I could carry around a 4K action cam, I can do a lot better work with that. Saturday or then so that was Saturday. Sunday, I had to work on my sister's car, so we got back really early Sunday morning, like late, like 2 a.m., 1:30, something like that. And I had to work on my sister's car yesterday. I spent probably 4 or 5 hours working on her car. She has a whole bunch of stuff that needed to be replaced, and she was like, they quoted me at this price, and I don't have that. Can you do it? And I was like, yeah, we looked up the parts. We got her some pretty decent quality parts, and I said, yeah, I can put. None of it was major. It was all. I mean, it was a major amount. It was a pain in the butt, but none of it is like complicated work, right? Just you know, difficult to get apart kind of stuff. But it felt good. It felt good to do that. But uh, so going back to the party, um, it was M's dad's birthday, and he wanted his brother's band to play, and so they did. Two of three of his brothers are in a band with two of their friends from like I guess this has been going on since like school days, right? And they're not like an active band. They're a typical kind of cover band. They play a couple of original songs, but they've been doing this for a long time, and they don't like they all live in pretty far apart. They don't get together and play very often, if ever. And so it was nice to just chill and listen to some live music. And Em was talking about like this she missed it. Like she's like this is the part of my childhood that I miss the most. Like they used to have these kind of events, family gatherings, at like the town center or whatever, and the band would play, and they'd all just have a good time together. And she kind of grew up around music that way, and I didn't. I didn't grow up around music that way. I did grow up playing piano, and I babysat for a piano teacher, and so she taught me, and I learned a lot of piano on my own. And then I got into drum in band. I joined band. I was originally going to play trumpet, and I didn't like it at all, and I ended up playing percussion for 6 years. So all of junior high and senior high. And ever since then, I haven't played music for reals since. I've tried lots of times. I've tried to play guitar. I finally got rid of my guitar last year because it was a like $70 eBay guitar. I've just never been able to figure guitar out. My fingers don't want to move fast enough. I played bass for a little while. I was okay at that, but not, I didn't. It's really hard to play bass by yourself, like without a backing track. And when I was trying to play bass, there wasn't like you had an MP3 player and you could just listen to whatever you want. So I haven't done that in forever. I haven't played piano since I was a kid. Like well, I mean, that's not true. I have played, just not seriously. I haven't tried anything. But just standing there, it was like, man, I've heard stories of musicians. So one of my favorite musicians is Dave King from Flogging Molly. He is the lead singer, songwriter for Flogging Molly. And he talked about growing up in Ireland Music was just a part of his everyday life. His dad would have friends over and they would just sit around and play music together. And it wasn't like they're a band. It was just, that's what they did. And so he grew up with the idea that live music was just the natural order of things. And that's always kind of fascinated me. And it's always, both of my kids have done some form of musical expression. My oldest plays guitar. She's taught herself guitar, banjo, ukulele. She's taught herself piano. She's never participated in band, but she did participate in choir. She has a very good singing voice. She's been in voice lessons for a few years now. And then my youngest is playing saxophone right now. She started on flute and then decided to switch to saxophone. So they both picked up music kind of independently without really any influence from home. Their mom played saxophone, so they knew that we were in the band, but there's not live music around them very often. I would hope that in the future, I told him, like, while we were sitting there, we're just listening to the band, I was like, man, I really wish I had some of this in my life. And she, was like, kind of like, what do you mean? And I was like, I just wish I had somebody to play with, My old house, I had a friend who had a drum kit, and he didn't have a place to play it, so he set up in my basement. I went out and bought a keyboard, like a $50 Facebook Marketplace keyboard, and we would jam every now and then, and I would just play stuff, and he would jam. And that was really fun, and I really enjoyed having, when I was a kid, and I had my own drum set, my friend would come over, he was a guitarist, and we would just play stuff for hours, and just having that expression or having that time together was just really exciting to me. And I miss it a whole lot. And Em was like, well, I would be willing to do that with you. And I'm like, yeah, she plays flute. She has guitar and has taken guitar lessons, but never really went very far with it, the same as me. So it's like, what would we play? What instruments would we play? I don't really have any. I don't have a skill set for that anymore. I have one instrument here that I could play called a strum stick. It's basically a dulcimer, which is, you really only play one string, so it's like, it's stupid simple to play. The other two strings are just droning strings. You've ever heard that kind of mountain, like look up Shady Grove or something, like one of those old school Appalachian songs, you'll hear that instrument. It's just like, it just sounds like a constant twang, 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 but then there's this one high note that changes. So I have one of those, and I could play that, and I know a lot of songs on it, but it's not exactly interesting. It's a very, like, the frets on the instrument are set up so that you can't play a wrong note. It's just a major scale, and that's it. So, I miss it a lot, but just like everything in my life right now, I miss working in the shop a lot. I miss writing. I miss playing board games. I miss a lot of things that are missing from my life right now. Riding motorcycle every day. There's a lot, and I don't have time for any of them. And I'm not complaining about that. It's just that's how it is. So while I would love to have music in my house, and I would love to have regular, jam sessions or something, and if I were to have future children, I would love for them to grow up around that environment. I don't know how to cultivate it, or where to even start, or where I would have time to do that. And it's, I do miss it. And maybe I should just pick up a keyboard somewhere, even if it's just like a little, I would like to have a weighted keyboard, like MIDI and all that sort of stuff, but if I could just play something, even if it was one of those little, like, plug into your computer, it doesn't have any speakers and you have to use it like a MIDI device, maybe that would be useful to me, but when I would have time to play it, I have no idea. So anyway, I was just curious to know, like, did you grow up around music that way? My grandmother had an organ, and so I played a lot of church music as a kid. That was a big part of my life, and I sung in choir in church also. So anyway, I was just interested. Did you grow up around music, and have you maintained your musical inclination into adulthood, and is it a part of your life? There's also a part of me that just enjoys, I would just rather see other people play the music, and I can appreciate their talent and not have to stress myself out trying to figure out how to do it. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is quietus. It is a now meaning something that ends or settles a situation. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, till pressure is wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of disprized love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns, that patient merit of unworthiness, to worthy takes, he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin. William Shakespeare. Quietus. Quietus. I probably murdered that Shakespeare quote. Never been a huge fan, but sorry.